I just finished at the gym. It is so late, but I just didn't get a chance all day to go. And I didn't go yesterday because I hurt my knee the night before at the gym. So anyway, this isn't really about the gym. This is about Ty. So I know the vlog yesterday kind of ended really abruptly without explaining if Ty was okay or not or what's going on. And he's okay. He did have a few seizures after. The school calls me to let me know even if they're little seizures or if he has more than two, they call. So they just mostly were keeping us updated. It obviously is not a good thing that he had seizures, but the fact that they're not, super long and not like a cluster where they're really close together is a good thing. Had he had more than three in the half an hour, he had two in a half an hour. Had he had more than three, they would have done one of his rescue meds to pull him out of it, and I would have gone and picked him up. As long as he's conscious, and not like stuck in seizures, we don't generally take him to the hospital. It depends. I mean, there's times where I just cannot get the clusters to stop, and then of course I'm going to take him to the hospital. But it's kind of one of those things where you have to wait it out, and that's what they're going to do at the hospital, unless, like once you give a medicine, you have to give it time to actually work. And I've been asked a couple of times too on here and in my personal life and like on my personal Facebook and stuff of if we chose to put him on medications and why. And of course, yes, we did. And I'm usually not one to jump right to medicine, to medications, but in this case, of course I was, because you have to think of it as like each seizure damages their brain. It causes, problems. And with Ty, when he has like a really bad seizure day, he forgets things like basic things, like how to put his shoes on, or it takes him a day or two, or even up to a week to kind of gain that back. And so, for him, if he's not on medications, he could have a ton of seizures and not progress in life. And not every kid is that way, but some kids are. And so you have to to me, it was like, I have to think of my kid. I have to put him first. And it would be selfish of me if his seizures are causing that much damage to not put him on medication and to, risk hurting his brain. And I'm not saying that if you're a mom or a dad that has chosen to not put your kid on medication that you're a bad parent. I'm just saying I feel like I would be selfish not giving it to him when it can help him so much. And I've seen a difference, but without medication, Ty is seizures all day. It's horrible. It is just, and sometimes he's not, but he goes through phases. But, if we forget a dose, I see it almost instantly, like within a few hours, he's seizure after seizure after seizure. And so, of course, I'm going to give him the medication because it's helping him. It's making minimal to no seizures in one day, and he does have bad days, but he also had a runny nose. The teacher called, or the nurse called me, and the teacher had told her that he got a runny nose at school. He didn't have when he went that morning. At least I didn't notice one, but he did get a runny nose. And generally, this is just what the neurologist told me. Generally, when kids get sick, any type of cough, cold, pneumonia, anything, it's hard to explain, but it's like their medications are not as effective, and kids are very prone to having seizures if they are sick. That's just how it is. Kids are more likely to have more seizures when they're sick. And so he got sick, had a bunch of seizures. This is very normal for Ty. And, it hasn't happened at school yet. He has had seizures at school, but not like to this extent. But given the circumstance that he got sick, came down with something at school, it just didn't surprise me that he had seizures. And I wasn't like, oh crap, let's go to the hospital. Like, I wait, let's see what happens and see if we need to go to the hospital. A few little seizures are not going to send him to the hospital. So it's, we've learned his seizures over a couple of years now, and I feel pretty confident in knowing, like, what's out of my comfort zone, what I will deal with at home versus what it's like way past my comfort zone and I'm taking him to the hospital. So I just have to, like, kind of, weigh it out and see how I'm feeling. And so in this case, he didn't go to the hospital. He bounced back. He seemed fine. When we go to the hospital, it is either we cannot get them under control or the emergency medications just are not working, or they're not being effective enough to pull him out of it. But he is doing pretty well considering, how bad it could be if we didn't know medications to help him and know what to do for him, because some seizure medications have actually done the opposite effect for him. They've caused more instead of helped them. So every kid's different. Every kid is going to have different reactions to different things, and that one medication, just some kids it does work well and some kids it doesn't, and it didn't for him. But so you just have to find what works for your kid if you're going through this, and for your family. You have to make that choice, follow that, like, instinct of, if it's the right choice or not. And it's scary. It is scary. Like, the first year of seizure stuff, I was freaking terrified. Like, just to be completely honest, I was scared. I didn't dare leave him with anyone. I was terrified to get a babysitter. I was terrified to send him to his therapist. I was just terrified because I was like, what if they don't know what to do? I barely know what to do, and I'm his mother. And we lived in an area where there wasn't really a hospital that was like a pediatric hospital that really had, like, a peds neurologist and, like, pediatric things that you need when your kid has epilepsy. And so that was scary too. And now obviously we live in Utah where there are a ton of pediatric neurologists and we don't have to drive 5 hours to get to them. But it's one of those things though that you just have to figure out what is best for your kid. I feel like I'm doing what's best for Ty. I'm following what I know is best, and it's not something that we learned overnight. We have over the couple of years that he's had this, been able to kind of, find what works for him. We've gone through our fair share of things that did not work, or horrible rescue medication reactions, or things like that, where it doesn't happen that way with every kid, but for Ty it did. And so just, I don't know, this is getting really rambling and, like, all over the place, but that's what happened. He's doing good. He is home with us still. Seems to be okay now. His nose has stopped running. So I'm just watching him super close. We're, taking all the right steps to make sure he's okay, and he's doing all right. So I'll keep you guys updated. Of course, I'm not going to edit a vlog tonight because I'm going to go home and spend some time with my husband. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.